Hello fantasy faithfuls, and welcome to the 4th episode of Making the Leap. Today I'm looking at why DK Metcalf is making a leap in 2020, so let's dig in. To understand DK Metcalf better and why he's going to make the leap in 2020, I have the usual proxy receiver. He's a mix of the 6 best fantasy receivers from 2019, and his target breakdown shows how the perfect fantasy receiver should look. More targets to the short left than right, and more deep right targets than deep left. This goes hand in hand with my 2019 correlation study as well. Metcalf is the craziest example I've ever seen of short left targets. I love a ton of targets there, but almost 60% of all his targets in one zone is insane. If we look closer, we see that it is the left side in general he's targeted in the most. He has 18% in the deep left as well. The proxy receiver has above 70% catch rate in all short zones, but not above 80% anywhere. So this is not the most important stat for fantasy, except he should be above 60% in the short zones and around 50% in the deep zones. Metcalf is actually in the risk zone in the short left, while being much better over the middle and right. Luckily, he's great at catching deep left targets, and we'll see soon why I can live with the catch rate. Lastly, yards per catch should be high short left, of course, high short middle, and outside the numbers deep. These are key zones to have high production in. And this is where Metcalf really stands out. He is above the proxy receiver in all zones but the short right, but he's barely targeted there, so it doesn't matter too much. But all left targets are fantastic, especially as Russell Wilson traditionally is the best deep left thrower in the entire NFL. But how about his usability?
Wilson, deep downfield, getting free and open and making the grab is Metcalf in for the touchdown.
In 2019, Metcalf should have been started 4 times, but for a rookie, this was a decent start. He had as many games as Calvin Ridley, under 5 points in standard scoring, so not too many bad performances. But for more context, let's look at when Doug Baldwin was the #1 guy in Seattle. You can see a couple of peaks here and there, but there are a lot of questionable performances as well. They have been more of a running team. Looking at his floor and ceiling, we'll see that he's in great company to take another step forward. Metcalf finishes his first season with a PPR floor of 5.9 points and a ceiling of 19.7. That is actually a strong floor with a weaker ceiling. Look at Mike Evans. He had a lower floor but a much higher ceiling. Same with Stephon Diggs. It is somewhat indicative of a boom-bust guy, but Metcalf leans more towards stability with a higher floor and a little lower ceiling. Last comparison is Courtland Sutton's numbers from 2018. He was a guy that had fantastic receiving trends, but not the floor and ceiling to match. Metcalf is in the same boat. A ton of right stats in the receiving trends, but a low ceiling. He's in a great position to take the next step.
Empty backfield. Wilson throws to the end zone. It is Metcalf for a Seahawks touchdown.
Looking deeper into Metcalf's production, we have his touchdown rate, which is one of his strengths at 7%. A very strong number, above league average, but not crazy high. We've seen receivers being able to stay around 7% for several years. In the red zone, he was great. 18 targets and a 22% success rate for 4 touchdowns and 60% catch rate inside the 10. And my favorite stat, he had 21% of the team's red zone targets. That's huge for a rookie. So these are fantastic stats that actually already are among the top in the league. He had the 14th most red zone targets in the entire NFL. So even though the #1 guy in the league was Tyler Lockett, there's plenty to go around in Seattle.
Advantage of those 2 big pass rushers not in the lineup. Wilson keeps, airs it out, downfield, the rookie! Touchdown, DK Metcalf!
Lastly, we have to figure out how many targets he will see in 2020. So first, the Seahawks pass catchers will have roughly 500 targets to share between them for the next year by the usual Seattle standards. With the competition on the team, Metcalf would see a big percentage of this. They have Lockett, Carson, Disley, and now Greg Olsen. Not really guys that see huge target shares compared to other teams. Then we have the NFC West. They have some of the highest scoring teams in the NFL with the 49ers, Rams, and Arizona Cardinals. Arizona are the least scoring at 17th best in the league, so games will most likely be high scoring. Arizona are also one of the teams that give up the most points to wide receivers. So if we're being a bit conservative, starting at Metcalf's 100 targets, he doesn't have that much competition for them, bringing him at least one more target per game. He will surely have some development as well with what he's shown, so at least 5 more by just seeing a better player. That brings him to a total of 120 targets, enough for him to make the leap. Hello Fantasy Faithful, I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to check out more of them right here and here. In case you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat.